Now, answering your questions about the law and legal issues. This is Legal Break with attorney Gary Bruce.
And I'm Maureen Akers. Welcome, Gary.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Glad to have you.
Thank
All
you.
right, today's question. Gary, how are lost wages and income calculated in a personal injury case?
All right.
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question because it is part of what you're entitled to if your life is disrupted by somebody. So what are you entitled to? The past, if you're presenting it to a fact finder, a jury or a judge, you can present evidence of your lost wages while you were out of work. Okay, so that's pretty,
Right.
makes sense, right? You ought to be able to do that. And then when we can talk about that collateral source issue, even if you had long-term disability, that's not a factor. You had to pay for that. So you should be entitled to your full lost wages.
Okay.
The question then becomes, are you entitled to the total lost wages or the after-tax? You know, there's always all these hair splittings that go on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then in the future, you're entitled to your future lost wages if you're not going to be able to continue the employment you had or it's going to impact your work in the future. And the same issues like raises, present value of money comes into play there, you know, like if it's 10 years, anyway, how do you calculate that? But you're entitled to that. And then lost opportunities, say you lose your ability to get the promotion that you were hoping for or continue your military career. That happens a lot in our community. How does that impact you and your family, and how is the value put on that? That's really not that's more of a pain and suffering calculation. It's left to the enlightened conscience of an impartial jury to put a value on sometimes those intangibles of, you know, I wanted to have a career doing this and now I can't. That has a value.
Yeah. Okay, so what kinds of evidence do people need to bring forth in order to prove these?
Yeah, and this is where it gets difficult, but of course your employment records, I mean, you got to show you had a trackable, predictable employment history with some income information. You got tax returns are always an important part of this to show that what you were earning, what you weren't. W-2s can be used in lieu of that. Sometimes we just use the HR people who can say, look, they missed 27 hours or, you know, 270 hours, whatever it is, at this rate of pay, and this is what they've lost out on. And then the intangibles, the loss of promotions, you know, that's where your co-workers, your bosses, the people you work with and see every day really add and flesh out a case.
Okay, thank you very much, Gary. We'll see you on the next Legal Break.